I have got one of my most beautiful clients here, Bridget. We're coming up to the end of our 6 month journey, and it's just wild to kind of reflect on like how the last 6 months have been for you. And I so appreciate you taking the time to do this because I think one, you're amazing, but two, it hasn't been like sunshine and rainbows, and you've still seen, such incredible results. So
Mm.
I appreciate you. And I think the first place I would just wanted to start is like, take me back to 6 months ago. What did you sign up for? What inspired you to get in contact? Where were you at?
Well, we'd had that sort of talk, and you'd given me some useful advice, and I was like, oh yeah, really like Sav. And then I was watching a bouldering contest down at our local bouldering gym, and I'd been kind of frustrated, like I hadn't been able to, like I'd lost a little bit more weight, but not much. And I sort of decided, it's like, you know what, screw it. I sent you a message, and I'm like, to find out about joining, because it's like, no, I want to make better progress than the little bit I've made. um and yeah, kind of went from there. But I was like, I've made a little bit of progress, but this isn't like, you know it'd be like a little bit, then nothing, then a little bit, then nothing.
Mm,
Screw it, I need more help. um
mm,
so yeah, and since joining
mm,
you, it has been a lot easier to make a lot more progress, so most of the
mm.
time.
Yeah, it's incredible what can happen when you've got a good plan, eh?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So what were you struggling with 6 months ago? Like, what was the reason for wanting to work with me in the first place?
A few things. Like, I was really struggling to get the nutrition, and you get so much random, advice and information in places, and it's really hard to sort out like what's garbage, what's not, what's going to work best for me. Is it working? I'm just not being patient enough, or I just need to make a couple of tweaks. And it's like trying to figure all that out takes like so much mental capacity. It's easier just to be like, you know what? I'm not a nutritionist. I'm an engineer. I don't know this stuff as well as somebody who has studied this. Like, I wouldn't, if I was, you, like, I wouldn't sit there and be like, I'm going to design this building, because you're like, it's not what I'm trained in. Whereas it's the same as like, I'm not trained in nutrition. Maybe I should get someone who is and knows what they're doing, and has spent, 10 years perfecting what the hell to do here.
Mm,
And then it was the same, like, I'd try and, like, I didn't know, it's like, should I be doing more cycling for fitness, or should I be doing more working out? And then when I'd go to the gym, it's like, what should I be doing here? Oh, that looks like fun. I can't be bothered doing that today, but I'll do that. So it wasn't like
mm,
there was like no structure to my working out. It'd be like, or
mm,
I'll just go climbing for the
mm,
day and screw the gym. So that's been really great as well. Like, I don't have to figure out what to do when I go to the gym. I wake up in the morning, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm doing this today. Off I go through. So it's freed up like a lot of just mental capacity to carry on doing what I need to do. And then, this stuff that I'm not great at is figured out for me. And it's like, I just go and do this, tick this off, tick this off, tick this off. Cool. Thanks, Sav. I've got my plan. So yeah, not having to figure out your own plan has been fantastic, and
you
much
just
better results from that.
Yeah, so tell me, I mean, obviously I know what results you've gotten, but run me through like what have we achieved in 6 months?
So since joining you, I'm now down, I think it's the 15 kg mark this morning, and 22, almost 23 kgs all up. It'd been like, little bit joined salved, and then the graph just goes like, "Doo." um, so that's really cool. Um, and yeah, lost just like a heap of size in general. All my clothing is too big. Had to go and buy a new jacket this week. Um, so yeah, gotten much fitter. Like I couldn't run 5Ks before, and now I can because that was like one of our goals. My climbing's improved just because there's, a lot more strength and a lot less of me to have to drag up the wall. And yet the strength gains have been like I've never made so much progress in the gym in such a small amount of time either. So that's been really, really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, you've gotten strong as hell and fit as hell. Like you've gone from 5K to running it in what, like 45 minutes, 50 minutes?
Yeah, something like that. Whereas it used to take me, even the first time I managed to actually run the 5K, it was like as slow as my walk for a walking 5K. Like I passed 2 runners last Sunday when I was running.
Really?
Originally, I'd be happy if I managed to pass a walker.
Now you're laughing them now. But you have worked the plan, right? Like you've actually come in and gone, I'm ready. Tell me what to do. And you've not just trusted the process, like you've fully engaged it. You've asked the questions. You've pushed me to push you, and I think that speaks volumes for your dedication. And I remember when we first actually spoke and we talked about like what your goals were, there was obviously the weight loss side of it, but I distinctly remember you saying, I want to be proud of myself. How do you feel your mental game has changed, if it has?
Definitely feeling a lot more like, proud of myself, and the work that I've put in. Like obviously we've still got, a long way to go, but it's like we've actually come quite far. And I guess just making the most of the opportunity. It's like, I've got 6 months with Sav. I don't want to waste it. Now got another year with Sav, but once again, don't want to waste it. So making the most of the opportunity. Yeah, definitely. And sticking to the
And so
plan.
do you feel like it's sustainable? Like, how do you think, yeah, your clothes fit, well, they don't even fit anymore. They don't fit better, they don't fit. But
They're too
like,
big.
aside from that, do you feel like you've learned enough to be able to live a healthier lifestyle like forever? Or how do you
Yeah,
feel about your habit?
because Jonathan joined as well. So we've completely changed, and it's like one little sort of habit change at a time. But we were talking a couple of nights ago, and it's like we haven't bought takeaways for dinner since very early July. When we used to be a classic work too late, we haven't taken meat out for dinner, or we haven't organized what we're doing for dinner. Screw it, grab takeaways on the way home. So I'll be like biking along with 2 pizzas on my handlebars. Where it's like we haven't considered doing takeaways as an option since early July because we're like, we've made the habit of making sure our food is sort of ready for the week and just making sure we're, thinking about it's like what we're eating for tonight. When we're looking at it's like how much protein are we going to get throughout the day, or what are we having? So it's all sort of prepared, much more organized about it. It's like those little habits. We've got the habits like we wake up at 6 now and we have our breakfast and get ready, head off to the gym, whether we're climbing or training or both. So it's, much better. Got the habit of going to bed earlier so we can get up. So those habits have just, like we've worked on like a habit at a time sort of thing, but it's so, yeah, it's quite easy really. Kind of
I was
just
gonna ask that. Does it feel like you're on a diet, or like how does it compare to things you've tried before?
definitely doesn't feel like we're on a diet. Like I had to go and buy a donut yesterday. I'm like, I need more carbs in my afternoon snack. I know how to
Yeah.
get that. And then I had a nice little walk to get my donut, crushed my step goal for the day. Easy peasy. So
It's so cool just to see like your transformation as far as you taking initiative now. Like now that you know what to do, you've habit stacked. You're like, I'm gonna go for a walk and get a donut, and there's no, well, I'm gonna assume like there's no guilt around that donut or pizza
No,
or whatever.
not anymore. Whereas previously, I would have beaten myself up about it and, you know, be like, oh, this is really unhealthy. I'm like, no, I need these carbs. This is good fuel for my afternoon.
100%. Yeah,
So
we
that I'm
love
not
carbs.
hangry by 3 p.m. in the office.
Right. Yeah. How do you feel like this lifestyle transformation has kind of impacted your work or your relationships or, you know, the other arenas of your life?
Well, I come home and I'm not hangry. So, you know, much better for our relationship. Definitely have much better concentration and just get more done in the afternoon at work because I'm not running out of energy from yeah. So having those sort of like, because we incorporate this like breakfast, morning tea, lunch, afternoon tea, dinner, and then if I have enough, you know, after dinner snack is always great. So I'm not getting to like 3 p.m. and having just completely no energy to get through the rest of the day and no concentration. So it's made work better. Or we can come home, you know, have a quick dinner. I've got plenty of energy to go climbing, you know, up on the Port Hills after work. So
Yeah.
it's been much, much better.
Yeah. You've said like I'm bouncing off the walls. Like, I'm just, you know, weeks, I think, since we started, you're just like, and it just goes to show like how important food actually is. Like we've got you eating donuts, we got you eating a lot of food, and you've lost, you know, 20 plus kilos, like 15 of that in just the last 6 months. And like that's been consistent, you know, it's just consistently dropped. And
Mm,
we've had times where we're like, we actually need you to eat a bit more because this shouldn't be like a rebound, you know, like we need to keep it off and make sure you're enjoying it. And so have you felt at any point like you've been restricted or like you've like it's been too difficult to follow in any way?
um, I thought it would be harder, and I was finding it's like, oh yeah, it's not very restrictive. Like, got to make a couple of sacrifices. Like, it's we really wanted pizza, for example, and it's like, wow, if we go and buy a takeaway pizza, that's a whole lot of calories, not much protein. Why don't we make pizza? We made the base, we put extra chicken on, so there's plenty of protein, maybe a little bit less cheese than you get in a store-bought one. Um, it's like, well, that's a pizza for 500 calories, and it's got, you know, 40, 50 grams of protein stacked on it, so it fits. And it's like, well, that's a really nice treat for the weekend, or, you know, because you've got a bit more time to make it. Um, so being actually able to be really flexible with what we eat and still enjoy the stuff we like has been really, really good. But I did like hit that sort of just mental block sort of 6 weeks ago. And having you like, because you know, if I didn't have you and I'd managed to make it this far and I'd sort of hit that block, it would have been game over, definitely would have quit, and probably been really upset with myself and, you know, gone back into that cycle and gained all the way back. It would have been like, ah, fuck it, screw this. And I'm sure I would have put back all the weight on. But having you to be like, oh yeah, no, Bridget's hit this, right? Give her a bit more food. We can keep making progress. We can focus on making more progress in the gym. And you just guiding me through that. But you sort of knew like, yep, we've hit this. This is how we deal with it to keep it going forward. Um, and then sort of being just in that calorie, not surplus, but maintenance phase. Help me get through that, make some more gains in the gym, improve my running. And it's like, oh, you know, I'm ready to do another cut. Whereas, yeah, in the past, without, you know, your coaching through, I would have been like, that's it. And I would have hit that a lot sooner, I'm sure. But yeah.
Yeah, you've nailed a part that everyone goes through, but no one out there wants to tell you, like, because it's not good for business, right? To be like, hey, in a couple months, you're probably going to want to self-sabotage or feel like you don't deserve all the progress you've got. And that's just a piece of like, that's a piece of human nature, is that we tend to live via our subconscious. And if we're not actually doing the work on ourselves, not just following the meal plan or doing the gym training, like whatever, that's easy. Like getting into here, this is where you kind of lock in the progress, right? Because you've actually become the person that eats the healthy food and goes to the gym, rather than it feeling like something you've got to do and feels like a chore. Does that make sense?
Yeah. But you were able to recognize like when we've hit that spot, and then, okay, now we, implement these little changes to help get through that. Whereas without that, someone who, knew this was coming eventually and was prepared for it and has sort of like a game plan to get back past it, it would have been, just game over, throw all the progress away, back to being super disappointed with myself.
Well, see, kudos to you though, because you've been patient. And I know that so many people out there would be like, oh, I just want the results yesterday. Like, what would you say to them?
Probably just enjoy the journey of getting to the results. Like, I'm quite far still from where we want to be, but I'm in a really, happy place, enjoying the results that I've got so far. And just those little changes, and, it's quite a bit of fun, really, ish.
Did you
Mostly.
ever
There were a
think,
few weeks that weren't so fun.
do you ever think you'd sit here and go, man, this is fun. Like I'm actually enjoying myself and losing weight.
Maybe not after I've just done one of the workouts. I'm like, what is Sav
Yeah,
doing to us?
sure. Sure. You can be forgiven for calling me names in that half hour, but I'm very happy that you're, for the most part, enjoying it.
No, it's been a great just change to our lifestyle in general, because Jonathan's doing it as well. So I think he decided before we re-signed for the next year, he's like, "This is the smartest thing we've ever, like, financial decision we've ever made." He's like,
It's
best
huge.
thing we've ever spent our money on. So
That is huge.
I mean, we normally spend our money on dumb things, so
The bar's really
yeah. But we did like turn down Mum's like, we could, all, because it's her birthday, well, big birthday next year. So it's like we could all go for a trip to Fiji next year if we start, planning and saving now. I'm like, I've got a year of coaching with Sav to pay for, so I'm gonna pass on the trip to Fiji next winter. Because I think I'd rather carry on training with Sav.
Mm. We kind of spoke about this too, right? And how like you're gonna have, rather than sitting on the beach and feeling shit about yourself and going, oh man, I just like haven't gotten anywhere, but now I'm on holiday. Like when you go on holiday, you're gonna feel so confident swimming and lying on the beach and feeling like you can probably actually enjoy it because you've got that headspace back.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, eventually, if we go on holiday somewhere nice and sunny one day, I'll feel better about it than if I didn't carry on with training for another year
Mm.
and like wasn't happy with myself. So yeah.
Rather than putting your head in the sand, you're like starfishing on the sand, tanning it
Yeah.
up. I love. Well, what I mean, I think you've honestly shared so much, but like if anyone was sitting on the fence and was like, this Sav chick sounds all right, I've got some weight to lose, and I don't want the journey to be sucky. What would you say to them? What advice would you have?
um Obviously, if you're looking at coaching, there's something that you're not happy with and something that you want to change, right now. And you could sit there in like 3 months' time, looking the same or being the same or being just as unhappy as you are now, or in 3 months' time you could have taken a big step. You could be proud of what you've achieved so far, and you could, have taken out a big step towards your goals, or be really proud that you've overcome some obstacles and that sort of thing. You know, take the step to make change versus, still be unhappy in 3 months' time.
Pretty powerful. That's the question, isn't it? It's like, where do you want to be 3, 6, 12 months from now, 20 years from now, depending on how long you've struggled.
Got to take that first step.
Well, I appreciate you more than words can possibly say. And I'm incredibly pumped for the rest of your journey, because like you've kept saying, this is just a piece. Like we're not even, this isn't like a before and after, or like, great, we're done, there's your results. You're like, I want more. I want to take it further. What else I can do? And it's an honor to help you get there.
Thanks. Got to like the 3-month point, and it's like, I don't want this to, I can't believe we're halfway. I don't want this to end at the 6-month point. Yeah, no, we will go for another year. And then Jonathan joined on, and he's like, I want to carry on too. This has been so good.
Yeah. Last question that I wasn't going to ask, but I just want to know for my own curiosity, like, where do you feel we'll be sitting a year from now, having another chat about this? Like, what's your vision?
Well, hopefully I'll be beating you at something, whether it's weights or climbing.
That's
maybe
not going to be
quite climbing.
That's going to be hard to do. You can kick my ass. Sure.
If you keep injuring yourself, that'll help. Thanks.
I'll let you.
Yeah. Helping me catch up. And hopefully we'll be sort of rounding on sort of like end goal kind of weight loss wise, and then it's like, what else fitness wise do we want to achieve? So would be really cool. Or how do we make it so I can eat as much as I can without gaining weight?
Yeah,
a reverse diet or something.
No.
So yeah,
the best is definitely yet to come for you. I know it's been great so far, but like, just the tip of the iceberg. It's going to be so much fun, and I cannot wait. So I really appreciate you taking the time to do this, and I think that you'll be helping a lot of women that were in your position.
I hope so. It was not a great position to be in. I'm much happier out of it.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much again, and yeah, I do so appreciate you and cannot wait to just keep going.
Looking forward to it.